Okay. We're
Well, too
recording
late now. It's time for what are we reading?
Chili dogs.
Chili dogs? We're gonna read a chili dog? No way!
Zane, you do a terrifyingly good Sonic voice.
Oh god.
I also learned that apparently I'm a good yandere, I guess.
Well, I mean, you've been doing that this whole story, so...
I mean,
Anyway.
I could do unstable somewhat decently, but every time you read this story, it sounds like you want to fuck everything you describe.
It's a good thing. You're really good at that.
Couple of dragons were approaching. I really wanted to bang the both of them.
That is how everything you said sounded.
It's like the closest thing I can think of is it sounds like that one like really creepy needle girl from My Hero Academia. But anyway, shall we get to the introductions?
Yeah, I'm Llytic.
I'm Tom.
I'm Zane.
And we're finally going to finish up my inner life, hopefully. Please.
Yeah, and after this, we're gonna have to figure out how exactly to schedule this shit.
Anyway. Very carefully.
Magic.
It's the whole thing where it'd be helpful if Tom was already moving into his new apartment already, so we didn't have to deal with the dinner scheduling, but...
It's gonna take a while, guys. I'm sorry. I really am.
And I got a job now, so oh boy.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing, but
Gotta
life.
pay for college somehow.
Yeah.
Trip back was quiet for the most part, although we did worry about draconians patrolling the skies or dark nights on ground patrol. Fuck. I almost said ground control.
Tom.
Ground control to Major Tom. That's not me, by the way, guys.
In a tin can.
I love that song. I was actually listening to David Bowie today. I have that. I don't have. You know what? I'll shut up. Let's keep reading.
We kept on trails that were mostly concealed, avoiding open areas and staying in one place for too long. You know, on a trip where we're supposed to be constantly moving. You'd think that wouldn't be something you need to specify that you're avoiding, but whatever. We rode all night long, taking turns sleeping on horseback, and occasionally falling off of horseback and under the hooves. I was the first one to sleep, while Link guided my horse by rope. Then we switched, and I took the lead, guiding his horse till morning. It was really boring, and no one fucking cares.
It gets better. We ate dried meat and cheese for breakfast. Then, wait, was the cheese dried too? Because that's disgusting.
Oh,
Just imagining a cheese brick.
Bear meat. For breakfast, then stopped at the Snake River to wash up and refill our water skins, watching out for the numerous amount of snakes that were in the water, such as the name of the river. We built another makeshift raft and then crossed the treacherous river. It was treacherous because there were snakes in it. Once on the other side, we disposed of the raft and covered up our tracks as we could not be followed. We also had to get some antitoxin, but that wasn't too hard because there are plenty of snakes around. We rode all the way to the Black Desert without stopping to rest since we were close to Araka's border. Once we arrived at the Black Desert, we wrapped our heads with damp rags and gave some water to the horses before crossing the hot desert.
As we fed the horses some of the water, a snake came out of my water skin. Oh boy. The trek across the Black Desert online was long and treacherous. The heat was immense and the sand caused my mouth to dry out. I nearly drank all my water before we finally reached the desert border.
Snakes and all.
Once we left the desert behind, we found a small river and stopped to rest and wash up again. Thankfully, this one wasn't filled with snakes. Link and I sat under the high burlap tree, enjoying the shade it provided while we ate bread and cheese. Then, feeling my eyes growing heavy, I cuddled into Link's arms and took a well-deserved nap.
Deserved what?
Still pregnant?
Yes, she is like 6 months pregnant, and if you remember the last chapter, not only was she fighting dragons while 6 months pregnant and doing shit like combat roles, she also got drunk off her fucking tits.
Yeah, that's so the baby's probably going to be like malformed or something. It's going to be It's going to be pretty bad.
Yes. Much like this story.
Yeah.
So, Black Desert Online, is that the new Sword Art Online sequel that's going to be coming out? Dear God, I can't do this again. If there's anything worse than author inserts, it's reader inserts.
Yeah, that's just,
lazy. Fucking lazy.
Anyway.
Link awoke me a short time later, then we resumed heading home. We finally arrived back in Hyrule just before nightfall. The pinkish lavender coated skies reached its hand across Hyrule Field, giving it even more immense beauty. We headed for the drawbridge and crossed it just before it was raised for the night. They were trying to keep us out, but they couldn't. We rode all the way to the first gate where my old friend Perino was on guard duty. God. Every time she mentions this that she's friends with the guards, it makes me hurt.
She's only friends with this one guard who's like the only
Always
one who
working.
puts up with her. And it's probably because he's just severely mentally slow.
Oh,
Nah,
God.
I think Zelda might not actually be running the cleanest ship out here.
As we approached... What?
Continue.
As we approached him, he jumped as a look of pure shock crossed his face, only to be hit by a car halfway across. Oh, by the goddesses! Jenna, you and Link have finally returned home. It was a piss-poor Italian accent. Do you wish to see a Princess Zelda tonight? He said, yes, smiling.
Yes, we do, Perino, and with great urgency. We have some very important information that may or may not be shaped like a knife.
I returned sternly, my face glowing with concern. Yes, I don't want some Mistress Jenna. Perino returned as he slid the gate open.
Headcanon, Perino is actually Mario in the Zelda universe.
Where's my cake?
Where's my cake? Let's see. We rode up the dirt path and to the second gate where the guards took our horses to the royal stables because no other stables would do because we were the most important people in Hyrule.
Obviously, nothing else mattered.
Then led us inside the castle. We were then led to the throne room where Zelda was waiting, her eyes shimmering with happiness that we returned home safely. But that was all soon to change when we told her about our encounter with Draconians and Dark Knights.
After she heard all the information we possessed, security was upped at every border and along the perimeter near the Black Desert Online and Gerudo Desert. Probably because the two couldn't tell the difference. Word had spread quickly through Hyrule about Arceus and the Draconians, causing the citizens of Hyrule to be thrown into sheer panic! People in Kakariko Village started boarding up windows and bolting doors. More guards were stationed along the border to Death Mountain and just outside the entrance to the village. Not really sure why the village is worried. They have their crazy tree to protect them who still wants that child sacrifice.
Well, Kakariko Village is like not the one that we're talking about. They're in the Lost Woods. It's Kakariko Village is the one like right outside Death Mountain. It's at the foot of the mountain. It's amazing they haven't been destroyed by a rock slide yet.
Shit, I don't know my Zelda lore.
No, I think I'm like the only one who's really played a bunch of Zelda games. Well, at least in this group. I don't know though.
Let's see. The word he did spread to tourists and something they're defining and attack strategies. Leaders pushing all women from 14 to commercial zone in on textiles.
Yeah, I feel like I'm breaking up too. That didn't really come through like all that clear.
That was like a robot for me.
Yeah, like
that's how you said all last time.
Yeah, you're just
pushing
like
all of the women physiognomy into on textiles. Even tight-lipped. Remember.
Okay, is it my line now?
I don't know.
Am I
Okay,
audible?
let's see. Not really. No, you're not. It's like that last line just came out as like just demonic metallic screeches. It was really weird.
Are you going through a bridge right now? Or... No, are you going through whatever?
RTC.
I've
You
had
back?
that happen before. The Discord machine's probably just breaking right now.
Okay. Is that better?
Heard you a little clear that time, but then you cut out again.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Okay. I heard you say, "Oh, sweet Jesus." So.
Yes, his Guru membership card is an actual thing.
Okay. All right. You're coming in a little better this time.
Gerudo membership cards, actual they're not.
Okay. All right, there we go. Even the peaceful Kokiri had started training in the arts of attack and defense. Mido had made sure that he would not go without some way of protection for his forest or people. So every Kokiri was equipped with a Kokiri sword and small crossbow. Each were trained under the Know-It-All brothers, whose knowledge in the arts of fighting were widely known.
Probably because they knew it all.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of.
Are Gerudo membership cards an actual thing?
I don't think so.
That's what I have been asking for like 5 minutes now.
Okay, sorry. I couldn't hear you, and I thought you just finished up the sentence.
I asked that after I joined back on.
Okay, yeah, you weren't really coming through. You're coming through now, but I don't think Gerudo membership cards are a thing. I know it's like in Breath of the Wild, you actually have to cross-dress in order to get into Gerudo City, and then in Ocarina of Time, it's just more they don't trust they really don't trust anyone except for other Gerudos.
The cross-dressing thing kind of makes me laugh only because they must assume that Link is a very small child. Considering how tall Gerudo women tend to be.
Well, it's not it's like in Breath of the Wild, all women are welcome to the Gerudo village, but they have to be women. They can't be men.
Oh, yeah.
So you're a giant rock man.
Well, Gorons don't technically have genders, so they're fine with that.
See, Gorons lack a penis, unless you're a fan artist.
Let's not go too far down that rabbit hole.
Because we all know someone out there has drawn Goron porn.
Yeah, no, it's been conceived. It's definitely a thing. Anyway.
Porn. What? Anyways,
Gerudo.
You can look it up after the.
Prepared for the war. Security was even more tight-knitted among them. No one was allowed to enter the Goron city unless they knew the song of the royal family, and the Zoras admitted no one unless they were in direct contact with the royal family. Even as peaceful as these races have been known to be, they became more warlike, steeled themselves for battle with such a threat, with the threat as such as deadly as Arceus. I watched as most of Hyrule prepared for impending doom, their very lives being thrust into a state of turmoil. Fear had spread out among the entire countryside with knowledge that the Dark Knight on Dragonbat would come attack any time. Most aliens who crossed Hyrule Field to get from one place to another usually did not stay out in the open too long with that kind of threat upon them.
Again, that's what missiles are for.
Cast magic missile against the darkness.
Oh boy.
Pew pew pew.
Oh god. But there were precautions to taken to try and prevent any draconians from entering Hyrule airspace.
What?
Hyrule airspace is a word I just read.
Airspace is a word, I believe, but
it is a word. Like that's for planes. Like, is there enough flying animals that there's like a guy sitting on top of like a tower in Hyrule Castle, just like incoming birds at 3 o'clock?
I just imagine it's a Goron just sitting on like a really high hill, and anything in the air, he just hucks a rock at and just kills it.
It's like the middle of spring, there are birds migrating. He just throws it and like kills 3 of them.
And it's like a giant boulder, and just, well, talk about killing 2 birds with 1 stone. He just killed an entire flock with 1 stone.
Those geese had it coming. Watchtowers were put up along the borders to the Black Gerudo deserts. One was even stationed at the infamous Spirit Temple, where Naburu herself stayed in close contact with.
You don't end with a preposition. Just saying.
No, you can't say he was a person which they stayed in close contact with. You can end with a preposition. Language is fluid. I don't see how you don't understand this.
Writing and speaking are 2 very different things. But then again, I'm an English minor, so...
Well, you should know that language is organic. It is constantly changing, constantly shifting, constantly evolving.
Yes, but you have to know the rules to break them.
If you're an English minor, you should at very least know that there is nothing concrete about language.
I do know that.
But it doesn't seem like it.
There can't be a wrong way to say it, and this is totally wrong
what I'm
ways
saying,
to use it.
No,
thank you, Zane.
So where is wrong? She should have said which.
Well, that's
what I'm saying. Wrong.
What I'm saying is, if she had said which she herself stayed in close contact with, that would have been one thing. There is no right way to write a sentence. There's just several wrong ways.
Okay, yeah. Let's just agree this person is a terrible author and writer, so, and I'll stop being so nitpicky because just
But even with watchtowers in place, no one could be sure when a draconian patrol small enough to slip past the watchtowers and cross Hyrule board. Wait, no one could be sure that no one could be sure that a draconian patrol small enough could slip past the watchtowers and cross Hyrule's border. How fucking small do you need the patrol to be for dragons to slip by?
Considering how big they were, I don't think even just one dragon going could slip by a patrol. Well, I mean, if it is a Gerudo watching, or not Gerudo, if it is a Goron watching, he probably falls asleep and eats some of the stones that he's supposed to be throwing, so...
Or they just have like this huge wheelbarrow full of hay, and the dragon's under it. Like Hercules style, like it's that big in the movie.
Honestly, with Hercules, I just imagine the... who was the guy that starred in that? Lou Ferrigno. No, Lou Ferrigno. The old Lou Ferrigno Hercules, in which he throws a bear into space.
That's a thing?
Yes.
I want to watch this.
You know the guy who played the original Hulk? Plays Hercules in it.
Really? Okay, that makes me happy. I want to see this now.
And there is a scene in which he fights a bear, picks it up, and throws it into space.
That's amazing.
Later, he throws a tree into space as well.
God. Checkmate, atheists.
Plans were put into the works by Princess Zelda to establish an air patrol of some kind. Ground patrol had been covered with knights on horseback, but with something patrolling the skies above, the threat of draconians crossing the border from above might be minimized. But there weren't really any creatures big enough except dragons and griffins to carry a full-grown human. Isn't there a... Wait, those ended up in the... Those first appeared in the Wind Waker game, so I guess they wouldn't be here. Those bird people?
Yeah, no, they appeared in the Wind Waker game, and...
different timeline?
Yes. Well, actually, no. Part of the same timeline. The Wind Waker is if
Wind Waker is if Link didn't go back.
No, it's if yes, that's the one if Link the one after Link had defeated Ganondorf and didn't go back. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so this technically would be in the same timeline as that. So if they waited long enough, they could get the bird people to do air patrols.
I was thinking more like Breath of the Wild with like the Octoling balloons.
That could work too.
Breath of the Wild is the wrong timeline. Breath of the Wild is the one in which Link dies and Ganon takes over.
Yeah,
Oof.
yeah. And then I think Twilight Princess is the one is the original timeline that Link returns to as a kid and actually grows up and stuff.
So that means that later on, since this would technically be that continuity if it were one of the three, eventually the King of Hyrule is going to flood the country.
Yeah, actually.
I've got a great
I love-
idea. Let's flood the nation.
It makes sense in context. I love Wind Waker. That's one of my favorite Zelda games.
Anyway,
But,
your turn.
Yes, it is my turn. I was about to say. The only other creatures that are big enough to fly, right?
Yes.
The only other creatures big enough that could fly were the 25 unipegs.
Okay, first off, the line you should have used was Pegacorn.
What are y'all talking about? What?
Unipeg.
Pegacorn? What's a pegacorn?
Pegacorn would be
It's a
better...
unicorn. It's a unicorn Pegasus. It's
You mean an alicorn from My Little Pony?
Yeah, even then, I'm pretty sure that alicorn is still a better word, and I don't even watch My Little Pony.
I don't.
Wikipedia has an article just called Winged Unicorn.
I'm just gonna keep reading.
In
That
some
live to the
literature
south.
or media, it is being referred to as alicorn, the Latin word for the horn of a unicorn, or as pegacorn, a portmanteau of the two words.
I'm
They're
gonna
both
keep
better
reading.
words.
Were the pegacorns? How's that? That lived to the south of Hyrule in the 26 Mystic Rainforest.
It's a lot of rainforests.
Creative names. There are none in this thing. But the only problem was one, the pegacorns were a peaceful, non-warlike race. These winged beauties live peacefully among the forest, caring for the trees and creatures that live among them. And two, the pegacorns also don't just trust anyone like the griffins, and usually will run at the sight of a human. Okay, so what's with the quadrupeds all not trusting anyone? Like, seriously.
I don't trust
Because
humans.
four-leggers aren't
Well, I mean,
bigger
that's
than two-leggers,
that's
obviously.
smart, but why don't they trust other quadrupeds? Like it's being said that the
One, griffins have talons and they'll probably hurt them.
I'm pretty sure a griffin might eat a unicorn.
that's
Let's be real, it
that's
probably would.
yeah, that's actually a pretty valid
Or
argument.
she calls it a unipeg.
Oh,
It was said that the only way to
Plus
gain
naming.
a pegacorn's trust is you have to be pure of heart and you must also believe in them. And
So
that
not
one
the
just
main
gave me
character.
connections.
Not the main character. She's definitely not pure of heart.
Yeah, no.
after how many times she's tried to bone Link? Heck nah. She peed
I'm-
in a
I'm-
cup for this man. Ugh.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty
they
sure
did dark
most-
rituals. That's
I
like
refuse to refer to anyone who does water sports as pure of heart.
yeah, no, that's just plain messed up.
Oh
If you-
boy.
If
Let
your
me
heart
ask-
was pure but you didn't believe in the pegacorns, then they wouldn't come to you, and vice versa. Not even that. One would even be so lucky to even find the Mystic Rainforest. This forest is under a magical spell. That's why it's called the Mystic Rainforest, and not the Magical Rainforest, because apparently Mystic is more creative. The properties of the forest keep changing, so that one never knows whether they're in the right forest or not. Sounds like the Lost Woods.
Yeah, you know, that
Also, the
place you
forest
decided to
only
live
shows
in.
itself. Yeah, they did. Also, the forest only shows itself fully under the light of the full moon.
So if you're in the forest when it's not the full light of the full moon, what happens?
You
You
die.
just see an empty plain. All the
Well,
trees
if you're already
disappear.
in the forest, do
All
you
the
disappear
trees
with it?
You don't disappear. It's just
Yes.
that all the trees disappear around you. But it's not like
Yeah,
they're
that
actually
sounds,
gone,
uh,
it's just that they're invisible.
So it's
So
like,
imagine
okay,
you're
cool.
like-
This open plain is open. I'm gonna start running. Bang! Just
You have to
straight
navigate
into it.
your way out of invisible forest. The trees are all still
That
I can
would
hidden.
be-
picture the dragons coming in and seeing the man on the ground and trying to leap into him, but just like crashing into 20 trees.
That'd be great.
Also, last I checked, there wasn't a rainforest rule.
No, there was not.
Yeah, I don't think it's near any tropical area at all, but that'd be an interesting game. Anyways, Zelda was not too sure if the Unipegs would even want to involve themselves in someone else's problems, let alone engage in a war, but she wanted to try anyway. This was the last hope for establishing the Air Patrol, so she sent a small convoy along with 2 diplomats representing Hyrule to the Mystic Rainforest. Sadly, though, all they could find was invisible trees and pain. Wait, if the fortress turns invisible, can't they just spot the Unipegs?
No, because they turn invisible too.
Yeah.
Which is really weird during the middle of the battle.
Your entire force turns invisible. The enemy's like, what the fuck?
It's then like a moon version.
Then you start seeing like holes appearing in their chests as they get impaled by invisible Unipegs.
Oh no.
It's like a moonlit version of like the Thestrals from Harry Potter. You know how you can only see those if you've like witnessed a loved one die?
Oh, those things. That's what they're called. Okay, yeah. I just
so like if someone's writing one, they aren't invisible. It's just that the Thestral is.
Yeah, I just.
Whenever it's not the light of whenever it's not the light of a full moon, you just see a bunch of people flying through the air bow-legged.
Oh no.
Thestrals. I just called them death horses.
Like, I'm just imagining like seeing a whole bunch of people with their legs splayed out like that, flying through the air.
That's
it's
great.
Like that one picture where someone like had that. It's like someone was on a motorcycle that was shooting out this jet of flame behind it, but then someone photoshopped out the motorcycle. And so you just see this guy on the ground, like standing with his legs spread as far as possible and his arms out in front of him, just shitting a torrent of fire.
You know, if you light a match and fart, the fire is blue.
I know this from experience.
No, not from experience, from my dad's experience, from what his roommates did in college. He went to tech. It was kind of a party school even back then.
Oh boy.
I found the picture.
Send it. I need to see this.
I'm gonna finish this paragraph then.
Yes,
look at that.
Please do.
2 days later, the convoy returned with the Unipeg leader, which was a surprise to everyone because, they're supposed to run from humans. After the Unipeg leader met with Princess Zelda, Link and I, because I have to be there because I'm the main character, shut up, he agreed to help us with our knights to patrol the skies without even a fight. Wow. The only setback was that the steadfastly insisted that they would not engage in combat with any dragons, since horse meat was a dragon's favorite meal. The Unipegs would have made a fine delicacy for the dragons, and that was something the Unipeg leader did not want to risk. He has said that their people had been living in secret inside the rainforest to protect themselves from evil, especially dragons.
Because apparently dragons are a thing now.
But yes, that's the picture.
What the fuck? It's like the motorcycle photoshopped out or something?
Yes, the motorcycle is photoshopped out.
So what's your quirk? I can literally shit fire.
Oh boy.
I'm not gonna lie, if I had a character like that in My Hero Academia,
I might actually use that for my Hero Academia fan fiction that I'm writing.
I still voted for like what your suggestion for the Midoriya power was if he actually had powers.
Oh, what
where he could literally pull fire towards him.
He could just summon pull small fires towards him because his mother could pull small objects towards her and his father could breathe fire.
That would actually be really cool. He could contain explosions and possibly redirect it. That would be awesome.
Here's the thing.
Imagine having to start the fight by literally throwing mollies everywhere, though.
Here's the thing.
Like
he's not fireproof.
He's not fireproof, yeah.
Well, I mean,
he just pulls the fires towards him. His power is literally just setting himself on fire.
Spontaneous human combustion.
That's spontaneous, so there has to be a fire nearby. It's like the most what the fuck ability you could possibly have.
Okay,
Like,
the way I was envisioning it was like rather than like being able to summon fire and throw it, he could like just manipulate it by pulling it towards him and like just directing it, like kind of like a water bender, but on fire rather than water.
No, this idea is just absolutely hilarious because the only thing he can do to the fire is pull it towards himself. So yes, he can stop a building from burning,
but
by setting himself on fire.
Yeah, okay.
I'm still thinking he starts every fight by lighting the entire ground match on fire.
Lights the area around him on fire and then pulls it towards himself.
Just imagine how terrifying that would look. Just a man sitting there straight-faced. Just come to me, fire.
No, even better. He pulls out like a jug of kerosene and just starts dousing himself. And then pulls out a lighter, lights it, and then just ignites. Imagine being the villain that witnesses that.
I think I'm done being a villain. I think it's me who needs to change.
I'm just imagining, don't worry, I'm here to save the day. Yeah, what are you gonna do? This, douse, light.
Well, I mean, that could work if he got one of those fire suits like the actors will use in action movies where people get set on fire and stuff, and use that as a weapon to his advantage or something. I don't know. I'm trying to go for... Yeah, you go.
So the Unipegs prepared themselves for a whole new way of life. Carrying humans on their back took some time getting used to. A lot of people fell to their death. Especially
for some reason, the Unipegs just laughed.
Well, I would. Not too long afterwards, the Knights and Unipegs were working hand in hand, or hoof in hand, however the fuck that works. Patrolling the skies with such marvelous and grace, flying with the swiftness of a 27 Kari in flight. Soon after that, Unipegs carrying Hylian knights on their backs could be seen flying over Hyrule Field. With the knowledge that some of Hyrule's best were patrolling the skies, most Hylians became unafraid to travel across Hyrule Field. Though the dangerous threat still remained, Arakas and his evil horde of Dark Knights and Draconians from the Shadow Realm. No shit, they're from the Shadow Realm?
We're gonna go into the Shadow Realm, Jimbo.
We're gonna have to fight them using a children's card game.
We're gonna prove our manliness by playing a children's card game.
On motorcycles.
I actually liked 5Ds.
Let's see. A Kari is a small, swift, predatory bird that lives along the borders of Gerudo Valley. This small desert bird hunts small mice and lizards for food, though it will occasionally attack larger lizards and other birds. The Kari is a territorial bird that will attack to defend its territory and any females from its enemies and other approaching males.
Oh my.
AKA the small dick bird. I need to defend their honor.
Weeks passed with no sign of Ariakas and his evil knights. Then one day that was all about to change. Link and I had made one of our usual trips to Lake Hylia with our fairies and son to watch the sunset. Since I was now 7 months pregnant. Okay, this happened in a month? Really?
Yes, this all happened in 1 month.
Okay. You know what? Screw it. I'll go with it. I had to regularly get out for fresh air. Link and I had found our usual spot on top the highest hill facing west, just 6 feet from the lake's bank. It snuggled down into each other's arms. I held our son in my arms while I breastfed him. Our fairies
your son or Link?
She could probably go for either. Our fairies had situated themselves at each of our sides, except Arya, who landed on my left shoulder while I fed little Link.
I didn't see the word little there for a second, so I thought it... Whoa! Not my cake.
A cool breeze rustled gently across the area, causing sweet smells of the approaching autumn to brush against our noses. With a gusty sigh, I backed up against Link's chest and snuggled my cheek against his, while his gentle, deep blue eyes were transfixed towards the lake. I'm kind of disappointed she stopped referring to them as his eternal blue eyes.
Or his crystal blue eyes. Still
eternal
like the idea that he is, in fact, one of the Fuck, I forgot the name of the Pokemon.
Okay.
Nobody's spoken yet in this thing. I just realized.
Yeah, it's kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't have to deal with any of their fucking voices.
Oh boy, is it my turn? Did you finish?
Yes.
Yes, I finished. It's your turn.
I'd always enjoyed these peaceful times with Link where everyone shut up. Everything was quiet and serene. No one around to bother us, including ourselves. The threat of Arceus. Yeah. Is that right? Arceus?
Riacus.
I just say Ariakis because that's, I don't know.
The threat of the seal of Orichalcos had slowly started to dissipate, and everyone started to return to their normal lives. Or so we thought.
Oh, epic foreshadowing. Yeah.
Oh, yay. The sun's last rays started to disappear over the horizon. Golden, orange, lavender rays outstretched to reach over the lake, causing it to glisten like small diamonds. I watched in awe like I always have done as the reddish-orange basketball disappeared over the horizon, giving way to the deep blue color of the approaching night. Small white lights started to line the sky, which I later found out were stars, as Link and I got up and brushed ourselves off. I wrapped our son in a tan wool blanket and we proceeded to gather the horses and head home, when I felt a sudden whoosh behind me.
I swiftly turned.
Looks like somebody didn't get the joke.
I swiftly turned around towards the lake. Shadows of dancing objects in the wind moved across the water's surface, but I saw nothing that caused that sudden rush of cold wind behind me. I turned back around wearily. What?
It was the weekly blood orgy. That's what the dancing figures were.
I turned back around wearily and walked over to my horse. I patted the horse gently on the neck. Okay, so are you not referring to it by its name anymore because it's just an animal now? Then proceeded to I know it doesn't, but still. On the neck, then proceeded to fasten Link Jr. into his small saddle. After he was secured on his saddle, I mounted my mare and moved over to Link, who had just finished fixing his saddlebags. But as I waited for Link to mount his stallion, I could not help but feeling as if we were being watched. After Link mounted his horse, I moved in closer to him, so I was directly next to his ear.
I then stuck my tongue in it.
Link, I don't know if you feel it too, but do you feel as if we're being watched? The first line of dialogue from me, and I'm already feeling sick because of it. Ow.
Oh my god.
I asked him barely audible while my eyes watched nervously forward. Link paused for a moment, then turned to face me. Are you sure, Jenna? I don't sense anything of that stature. Maybe you're just nervous about something.
Stature?
Baby. Link said softly as he placed his warm hand against my cheek. I don't know. I cannot help but feel as if something is watching at me, staring at me with evil eyes. I don't know about you, but I'm anxious to leave and go home.
Oh my god. I still think you're just worried about something, but if you want to leave, my love, then we will. Link cupped his other hand on my other cheek, my ass cheek, and pulled my face close to his. But to make you feel better, love, I will give you a nice hot sponge bath when we get home. Seriously, who the fuck says shit like this?
Jenna does, apparently.
Link said soothingly as he inclined his lips to mine. What? After a minute of peaceful eternity, boy, it does feel like eternity, I looked deeply into his eyes.
You always know how to make me feel better.
Well, if it weren't for the knife in my back right now.
And that's one of the reasons why I married you.
I said softly against his lips, then inclined to them again. Who the fuck says inclined like that? The moments we spent locked in each other's kiss seemed to tick to an eternity of pure bliss, as our small soft kisses soon gave way to deeper, more passionate kisses. As we held the blissful position, I suddenly felt warm and peaceful inside. I realized later that I had pissed myself because of the baby resting on my bladder. The feeling of being watched soon left my body and opened up to ones of pleasure.
Then we drew apart, and I took Link's hand and nuzzled my cheek into his palm. I don't know what came over me. I suddenly feel foolish for thinking that something was watching me when it must have all been a dream, I said, feeling slightly embarrassed. What?
Everyone is stupid.
This is reaching new depths of stupidity. Link took his hand, lowered it under my chin, and lifted my head until our eyes met again.
Oh God, he popped off her head again.
Oh no.
I don't think you're foolish, my love. In fact, you're more than that. You're still the most marvelous, sweet, beautiful woman I feel in love with. And it's those reasons why you should not feel foolish. Link lowered his face and cupped his hands around my face again, drawing me closer until our noses were just barely touching. But if it would make you feel better, sweet love, we should start heading home now. I think our son needs to get out of this night air and into bed.
I don't know why, but with the "you're more than that" line, my immediate thought was, you're not foolish, you're more than that. You're a fucking idiot.
I mean, that's what it really sounds like.
Right, Zane?
What?
Zane?
Your line.
Zane!
Dun, 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 dun.
Zane? Zane? Zane!
Yes, thank you for reiterating the joke I just made.
I know. Whatever.
Anyways, inclining forward, I softly placed a light kisu against his lips. You're right, my love. I would favor that we get home and get our son to bed. I'm also waiting in anxiety to get that sponge bath you promised me. I said seductively, my eyes twinkling with a certain desire for dick. As you wish, Link returned with a broad grin. You're my queen, he added teasingly, then turned his horse toward the entrance to the lake and booted the horse in the legs.
Stop that!
Taking it off at a gallop. With a gutsy sigh and a soft smile, I gestured for our fairies to follow, then booted my horse as well and followed Link's path.
As we arrived home, we stabled the horses and stapled the horses to each other. Face to ass. We were going to create the horse centipede.
Oh no.
I put our son to bed, then joined Link the tub room.
So he's a transformer now?
Transformers less than meets the eye. When I got there, he had the tub already filled with hot water and 28 Laxius flour. Taking my hand in his, he removed my robe. That one was my fault. What the fuck? And gently lifted me into the tub. Then I felt his broad hands against my shoulders as he began to firmly massage them. As his gentle hands worked my sore, tired muscles, and the soothing vapors of the Laxius flour penetrated my nose hole, I began to feel relaxed. My body loosened up. I got a wide on. And Link's soft and gentle words began to run through my mind. I felt my eyes slowly close as the good feeling of being pampered caused me to drift into a state of pure bliss.
Albuquerque. I just sat there while Link massaged me, then bathed my body, removing the dust and dirt I picked up while caring for our house. But as my pregnancy progressed, chores were getting harder and more tiring to do. So I decided
finally bringing the pregnancy back up? Sorry.
Yes, yeah, it seems to be.
It only
decided
matters
that rather than take heat from Link from taking on overbearing responsibilities, I'd let him handle most of the housework like he did before during my first pregnancy until I gave birth. So I mentally decided that from that day forward until I had our second child, I would take it easy and relax.
After Link finished bathing me, he helped me out of the tub and handed me my light blue halter gown. I took it gently from him and slid it down over my body. The dress was snug and semi-tight fitting, so it left nothing to the imagination of my fat, pregnant body. It was one of Link's favorite things for me to have me wear, even though my belly stuck out. Oh, Link's into that baby belly. After his eyes looked me over
Link
with a
has
lingering
pregnancy fetish.
desire, I mean, he's already on his second kid, so maybe. He decided to push aside the feelings for now. It took me by the hand and led me downstairs. We gathered the fares and decided that since night air was brisk and cool, we would enjoy the rest of the evening out in the porch swing while we fucked. Bad mental image, almost barfed. Anyways, we went outside and sat down on the swing. I called into Link's arms, and he pushed up against the squeeb and caused it to move in a gentle rocking motion. Are these two really swinging?
Yeah. I don't know why she's describing the swinging.
Swing, swing from the tangles of my heart is crushed by a former love. Sorry.
Then I felt Link's muscular arms sink around me, pulling me into his gentle embrace before slamming me onto the ground with force. "It's my turn on the swing now!" he yelled. I just rested my head against his chest and listened to the soft chirping sounds of the crickets for a few moments until Navi decided to stir up conversation about the upcoming fall harvest. We just sat there and talked a meaningless dribble about who was going to set up decorations or who might be the lucky girl to win the dance contest when I felt the sun chill run up my spine and the feeling of being watched rushed over me again. It was kind of hot.
She's become self-aware. She realizes that there are readers.
Since our
What
home
she
was
is
located
sensing
inside
is
the...
us.
It's like Loot Spot in the Lost Woods, and knew that this time was some. I knew that this time something was definitely wrong.
Oh boy, something's watching us in the Lost Woods? Who'd have fucking thought?
Oh, it could be Skull Kid.
Skull Kid likes to watch them fuck.
Well, I mean, he's the only one there.
I looked up into Link's eyes and whispered softly to him,
Link, my love, I cannot help but feel as if we are being watched again. I think Skull Kid's out there at the edge of the porch again. I know that this may seem crazy, but this time I know that I'm not just worried. There really is something out there watching us. I lowered my head and nestled close to him, seeking the protection of his strong arms. Whatever it is, it's causing me to shiver in a cold fear. The fuck is a cold fear? I said it in a shuddering voice. Link lowered his head so that his lips were brushing my cheek with a comb. His warm breath tickled my skin. He took my hand in his and brushed his lips across my cheeks. Don't worry, my love. I built this house inside a secluded spot in a forest filled with monsters. It would be too hard for anyone to find us without knowing the way in this literally impossible to navigate forest.
Well, there is that one Skull Kid who seems to know his way around better than I do. But who am I to judge?
I've sometimes witnessed him sitting up next to the window whenever we're fucking. Just turning Skull Kid into a fucking peeping Tom.
I mean, I think less of a peeping Tom and more like, what the heck is going on? I don't know why they're doing this again. They're like wrestling while they're naked, and it's strange.
Link took his hand and gently lifted my head up and popped it off my neck until our eyes locked. Then suddenly we heard the word fatality yelled out.
Mortal Kombat X is great.
Yes.
Jenna, my dear wife, I have never been the one to ever doubt you. I have always entrusted in your instincts, even though I find it hard to believe that. Just then, Navi cut in. Shh, do you hear that? Navi said in a whisper, her blue aura flicking wildly, rather than flickering. Gently, Link lowered my head and cocked his long, sensitive ear towards the sky. I didn't write that, but it...
I don't know why, but the idea of Hylians having posable ears makes me laugh.
No, that's a pretty funny image. You're right on that one.
Besides, we've already established that this person apparently has tiger ears.
Yeah.
Why is her hearing so shit?
Because she's apparently human. Sitting in a dead silence while he quietly listened for any strange sounds. I too focused my hearing on the dead silence of the night, waiting for any strange noises. After a few minutes went by with nothing being heard except for the soft chirping of the crickets and the sound of each other breathing, Link lowered his head, then looked back at Navi. Navi, I hear nothing. What is it you heard? Link questioned, slightly annoyed. It sounded like a low, eerie grunting noise, and I also felt as if we were being watched.
Oh god, it is Skull Kid in the bushes masturbating.
Navi said, then silenced everyone again. There it is again, she said as she cautiously floated over towards a small clump of bushes. A light blue trail of fairy dust trailed behind her as she moved closer to the bush. Each move she made taking in heed. What? Then she paused for a moment just a few feet from the bush, as if she were examining it. We watched in dead silence as she just floated there, her aura flickering wildly.
Just setting the mood. Zane?
Zane, your line.
Zane?
Suddenly, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
Then
suddenly, her aura changed into a bright red as she shakily started floating backwards. Lick and I dropped off the swing and slowly made our war to the end of the porch. Navi, what's wrong? Link called out as to her worriedly. Link! What are you doing? Stop! Jenna, I suggest that we all get the hell out of here! She cried out as she turned around and started flying at a fast pace toward the house. Just as a loud shrill cry filled the air as a massive cat-like creature shot out from behind the thicket and into the air. The beast's eerie red eyes were focusing down on us. Oh my goddesses! What the hell is that?
why do I want to fuck it so bad?
Back to Link, thrusting my shuddering body against his. Oh goddesses! I don't know what I don't know, love, but yeah, everyone get to the house now! Link shrieked as he grabbed me by the arm and pulled me toward the house. The sound of massive beating wings stirred the wind behind us as Link urgently pushed everyone inside the house and bolted the door behind himself just before the beast managed to grab him.
I don't know why, but the fact that I managed to break Zane for a bit there.
We watched her as the massive black bat-like beast tried to rip and claw out the windows. Its long white fangs caked with thick saliva as they glistened against the dim moonlight.
I have to say, that is probably my greatest accomplishment, just breaking someone like that. Oh god, okay. I just cried against Link's chest as he held me close to him. What are we going to do? I said between chokes of tears, my body shuddering in a cold fear. Just before Link could answer, my head snapped towards the winding staircase. Oh my god, this is Link. Our son is all alone up there and we haven't sacrificed him yet to the great Deku tree. We have to get him. We have to. I screeched as I pulled myself out of Link's strong arms. Before he could stop me, I broke free and dashed up in a dead run up the staircase towards the bedchambers. I don't think this person has ever seen a person who was about 7 months pregnant try to run.
No. I try to stay away from that part of the internet.
Just say you ain't gonna be managing to pull off a dead sprint.
Yeah.
It's just, oh my god. When I reached the top, I dashed into the bedchamber on my left, knocking the door aside as I flung past. Gasping and out of breath, I hobbled over toward the crib. Oh, so now she actually moved like an actual pregnant person would. quickly over to the crib where our son was lying and reached my arms over the side to grab him when a loud death shrill echoed through the room, rattling the windows relentlessly.
Quickly, I grabbed our son, hugged him close to my body, and turned to run out when suddenly a large dark figure with massive weight crashed through the window and landed on its hind legs, its massive leathery black wings beating with fury. Then the beast curled back, its twisted lips revealing long, sharp white fangs dripping with thick salvia, while its chilling, deep eyes watching my every move with bloodlust intentions flickering inside them. Slowly, the massive bat-like creature started matching my every move, its vicious snarls and grunts causing every muscle in my body to tremble in fear.
Oh, this scene just gets funnier when you keep remembering the fact that during this entire thing with this bat monster, they are just continuously screaming.
It totally is, actually.
It was at that point I knew that the evil creature was trying to trap me inside the room. The intentions clear upon its twisted face, but I knew if my son, my unborn child, and I was going to survive, I had to escape at all cost. I slowly continued to back up, screaming continuously still, watching the creature as it mimicked me, screaming back, its fangs glistening against the dim light of the room, as the saliva began to drip faster and thicker. Oh, yeah, from them.
Oh, God.
Causing puddles of thick, oozy slime to form on the floor. But I waited for the right moment to make my escape. Then a strange noise began to rumble inside the beast's body as his mouth began to open wider, causing a dank smell of dead flesh and rotting food to emit from it.
Oh, so it smokes weed.
With that, the beast... What?
Dank smell.
Dank. Its head back and let out an ear-piercing shrill cry that caused me to clench my ears in pain, causing my eardrums to feel like they were going to explode inside my head. The minutes of the beast spent locked in that death cry seemed to tick to an eternity when suddenly all went silent. The next thing I knew, the beast had gone to the airborne and I'm gonna die, to dip into a death dive toward me. With a shriek and eyes wide with fear, I decided to make my escape. Swiftly, I dashed towards the door, thrusting aside as I darted past. Use your elemental powers! Darted
like,
past.
seriously.
Stop screaming and use your elemental powers. I clenched my son tight against my shaking body as I went into a mad dash down the winding staircase, accidentally tripping about 2 steps in and tumbling the rest of the way down. The sound of massive beating wings rang loudly behind me. Reaching the bottom, I grabbed a hold of Link and begun to pull him with me. Oh my God, it's this Link! We had to get the hell out of here! That flying beast attacked me upstairs and now is coming this way! And I haven't used my elemental powers for some fucking reason.
She's pregnant. You can't expect her to strain herself like that.
She was using elemental powers just a month ago against dragons that were probably far more terrifying than this fucking thing.
I know, I'm just being sarcastic.
Between gasps as my breath, my hands trembling vigorously, causing our small son to end up with a concussion due to me shaking him. His blue eyes suddenly changed into a deep shade of gray, 50 of them in fact, causing them to widen with a paralyzing fear. Oh my! Lily, Navi, Arya, we must leave, now! Link cried as he grabbed me by the arm and pulled me into a dead run along with him. Using his shoulder, Link bashed through the front door, causing the wood to shatter into splinters, just as the loud crashing sound of the metal staircase buckling and twisting under the massive weight rang loudly behind us. Just before Link and I rounded the corner, I saw the massive black bat creature landing heavily in our now mangled living room, its mouth gaping wide as its death cry begun to fill the night with a cold fear. Stop saying cold fear. It didn't sound good the first time.
My line, isn't it?
Yeah.
Link and I made our way through the darkness and into the stables where our horses were dancing around in fear, their eyes rolling back as their frightened whinnies filled the surrounding area. We proceeded to free the horses, allowing all but 2 to run out the barn and into the deep thicket of the forest. Quickly, Link saddled Midnight Star and Epona. Oh, so now you named them again. Then through Well, actually, they used that correctly. Then threw our saddlebags across them. Okay, this is Link speaking. Jenna, quickly, saddle our son, then mount. We must leave quickly, Link said with urgency as he rallied our fairies, then mounted his stallion. We must hurry and ride to the castle to take sanctuary. With hast, I quickly secured our crying son into his small saddle, then mounted Epona. With one last glance at each other, Link and I booted our horses in the legs, causing them to whinny and take off out of the barn and into the cold night at a dead run. We raced around the winding trails, made our way out the tunnel that led to the Lost Woods and out into the peaceful rolling hills of Hyrule Field.
I lowered my head down against Epona's white mane as it whipped wildly in the wind, the hollowing noises of the wind rushing past us, the silence of the night to be filled with chaos. Slowly the castle started to come into view as the loud cry of the bat beast rang through the forest, followed by the sound of massive leathery wings beating in the air. Slowly I turned my head to be faced with the sight of the massive evil creature swiftly emerging from the forest and into the air as it took to pursue us. With a shudder, I lowered my body closer to Epona's body and urged her on into a faster pace, causing her to catch up to Link and Link's horse and the trailing dust that glittered behind our frightened fairies. We pushed on. The vision of the castle came closer into view, and the sound soon gave way to the sight of the shimmering stone that formed the castle walls. Where's the Air Force that they made?
Well, if they're not going to fight the dragons, you think they're going to fight the giant bat monster?
Good point.
So again, we've yet to have any reason for them to not try to fight back.
Yeah, it's like, maybe this thing just has some fear aura, but I don't think so. I think it's just the rider being lazy and stupid.
Link, we must hurry! The beast is in pursuit! I shrieked over the cascading noises racing through the night, still continuously screaming. Link was also screaming at this point. It was really fucking hilarious. My hands twitching nervously on the reins. Don't worry, love, we're almost there. Just a little longer, Link called back, his voice being warped over the loud howling noises. We won't make it if that damn beast catches up with us, despite the fact that we've probably killed much harder at this point. I returned angrily as I looked back to see a large black shape with death red eyes. Death red. That's my favorite nail polish color. Thrusting its massive wings against the wind as it began to dip into a death dive.
Death dive! Just heavy metal starts playing.
Oh my god, it's Link, it's closing in on us. I shrieked, Link, oh my Faror, we must hurry. Suddenly, the wooden bridge came into view as it lay across the small moat surrounding the shimmering walls that surrounded the market. Quickly, Jenna, we must cross the bridge before it closes for the night. Link cried out over the howling wind, booting Epona in the legs like a fucking idiot. She bolted forward as she ran toward the wooden bridge, causing a loud shuddering sound of hooves clinking wildly on it.
Swiftly, Link and I raced through the market and up the winding dirt path that led to Hyrule Castle as the loud shrieking cries of the beast rained loudly in the distance. I mean, if there was a swarm of these things, I would understand it a little more, but there's only one. We raced past the first gate, which amazingly was left open, and up to the second gates, where two guards were resting lazily on their spears. Quickly, Link and I pulled our horses to a skidding halt and dismounted, waking the guards suddenly, causing them to jump shakily. And the guards looked at us skeptically. What business do you have here, Link, at this time of night? One of the guards asked questioningly. This is not the time to ask questions. Hurry, we must see Princess Zelda now. It's of great urgency, Link snapped as the shrill cry of the bat creature shattered the silence of the night. Its twisted black image came into view as it flew in front of the full moon, causing the guards to jump in fear. Oh, by the goddesses, what the hell is that? One of the guards cried out as he pointed skyward. That's what we came...
The least scary monster we've seen so far.
Yeah, yeah. That's what we came here about. Now we must hurry and take sanctuary inside. Open those damn gates now. I snapped. This is her speaking. I snapped as I grabbed one of the guard spears and thrust it at him. Without any questions, the guard hastily opened the gates. Okay, that's assaulting an officer of law.
I'm just waiting for the bat to slam into the gates and just shut everyone up.
Just crumple.
allowing us to pass. I unfastened our son from his small saddle, then hastily followed Link and the guards into the sanctuary of the castle.
Upon entering the castle, Link grabbed one of the serving girls that passed by and told her to go and wake Princess Zelda. A skeptical look crossed her face, but without haste, she walked quickly in the direction towards Zelda's bedchambers. We were then directed to the throne room. A few minutes later, Zelda joined us with her father in the throne room, looking tired and pissed.
The throne
looks
room.
Upon their faces. Zelda swiftly approached us, her blue eyes glowing with irritation. Link, Jenna. Ah, damn, I can't do the Russian accent right now. Fuck.
I don't think you've ever been able to do it.
Yeah. What is of such great importance for you both to come to the castle at this hour of the night? Zelda questioned as she crossed her arms across her chest. Who's speaking? Oh, it's her. Princess, my dear friend. Link and I came here with terrible news. The news of a terrible creature that has entered Hyrule. I said shakily as I walked closer to Zelda, my brown eyes locking with hers. What? Creature. Speak up, my friend. What has happened? Zelda returned, her ivory white hand resting upon my shoulder. Princess, what my wife is trying to say is that a terrible fucking huge-ass bat just attacked us in our home, causing us to flee from our house to take sanctuary here, Link added as Zelda's blue eyes began to fill with a mixture of shock and fear.
I'm thinking of ways you could actually describe this thing to make it terrifying. But
give me like an hour and I could something.
It's one of the things that I like. Don't get me wrong, Lovecraft's not bad, but I don't know. It's the whole thing of if I like, he just gives like these very vague explanations, and that combined vague descriptions, and that combined with the fact that literally every character he writes is fucking unlikable makes it kind of hard for me to get invested.
Well, I mean, I read just to read about the horrible deaths, and the vague descriptions kind of leave it up to your own imagination. And well, one that's actually pretty interesting is the Hound, which is his take on vampires. But anyway,
I don't know, it's just the whole thing of like the whole thing with the Dagon, and like the first one we see that in is just. It had big arms and it was covered in scales.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw it, I went insane. Okay.
I love Lovecraft.
I just don't find Lovecraft scary, I guess is the thing.
It's not supposed to be scary. It's supposed to be more unnatural, I guess.
It's supposed to be existential horror, but it just doesn't do it for me.
For its time, it was probably really good, but you have to remember this was written in the early 1900s. So
yeah, that was back whenever you could say all kinds of terrible shit about someone and still have the character be considered likable. After all, I read Reanimator and I wanted to throttle the main character.
There are a bunch of characters like that.
Anyway, I cannot quite explain it myself, but I can say that the creature was some sort of gigantic black-like bat creature. Black-like. What? I think you got a couple words mixed up there.
Yeah, I think she did.
Evil red eyes and vicious fangs, and that's all we're ever going to describe about it because we want to make sure that this thing has the least threatening description so far.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, it's like really furry, like really fuzzy, like it's real soft, but it's got terrible eyes and fangs. So
all they're describing is the eyes and fangs, and it's like, okay, describe how the eyes and fangs are terrifying. Just don't just say it had scary eyes and fangs.
Like keep reading.
Go into explicit detail about how terrifying the eyes are.
Yeah, that would be good writing though, and we can't get that from this writer.
If from the way it attacked me, I'd say its sole purpose, not its sole purpose, but its sole purpose, like soul food and soul music, was to attack and kill me. But for what reason, I still don't understand. I don't know, you're supposedly a very strong elemental being, and your husband is the literal hero of time. Gee, I wonder.
I said shakily as I went into Link's arms in search of comfort, because that's all I ever do. I watched as Zelda and her father's eyes widened, the fear apparent in their eyes. What about what you just said is scary?
Yeah, it's...
Like, literally, you could have just said, oh, there's a big fucking bat thing that literally just demolished my fucking house, and that would be scarier.
Yeah, and that's not that scary either.
That would at least give some idea of, oh, hey, this thing has some power behind it.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Just then, our son started to cry loudly. I booted him out the window, his little pointed ears twitching uncontrollably as he squirmed in my cold, dead arms. I took the blanket I had stuffed in the small leather bag I had carried and wrapped it around his head, smothering him. Shh, my son. Quiet down, little one. I cooed softly. Don't struggle, only dreams now. As I gently shook him in my arms. Then Arya flew down and floated softly around his covered, smothered head. The light blue of glittering dust caused him to stop crying momentarily as he inhaled it and then went into anaphylactic shock. As he raised his hands up to grasp it, at that moment, I took the momentary interruption of his crying to move off to one corner of the room.
I think he needs to be fed. He's hungry, cold, and tired, I said as I walked to one of the velvety chairs in the corner, sat down, and proceeded to feed him. I just sat there feeding little Link, while Link had a fevered discussion with Zelda and the king about the new threat of the dangerous dark bat creature roaming Hyrule. As I listened to Link describe the creature to Zelda, haunting memories of the disgusting creature filled into my mind. The thought of those evil red eyes and dank breath sent paralyzing shivers up my spine, causing my body to shake with a cold fear. I looked down at our son suckling on my nipple and started to cry silently. Small crystal white tears began to slowly stream down my face as the dread thoughts of what that evil creature might have done to our son should have gotten a hold of him, because he's all that matters. And a mixture of fears raced through my mind on what reasons the creature would have wanted with our son or me, caused the feelings of trepidation to rage through my body, through my every vein. Then my head snapped as the cold fear raged up my spine again, as the realization that I was still pregnant caused the color to drain from my eyes.
I hate it when I forget that.
I begun to shudder at the thought that if the creature had gotten a hold of me, our unborn son... Okay,
give
so...
an offhanded mention of the thing, I don't know, having effortlessly batted Link across the fucking room with one wing. Give some fucking mention that shows that this thing is something you can, that's at very least something you should probably retreat from. Just don't fucking say that, oh, it broke our windows. You fucking faced things that could break millions of windows.
And it's like, okay, so you took care of dragons with like a gale storm you whipped up, so why are you so scared of this bat thing that's about the size of, oh, I don't know, a large dog? Like, seriously.
No, I'm pretty sure it's probably closer to the size of a cow, but still...
Yeah, still, I mean, that's not as big as the dragons were.
Give some mention that shows that this is something that you cannot deal with at this moment.
Yeah, mention it's like...
have it tear through, I don't know, solid metal effortlessly.
Yeah, okay.
Have it take a hit from the Master Sword and no-sell it.
Or if you're gonna go with her BS powers, have it tank a fireball. That just only manages to piss it off.
Try to immolate the thing, and it doesn't care. Do something to show that, hey,
nobody cares. It's the end of the story. There's no more chapters after this. It's almost over. Who cares? Let's just finish this damn story.
Just let the rage build in you. It's interesting.
Last time I did that, I accidentally destroyed a planet. Do we really want that to happen again?
Well, are you on Earth?
Yes.
Because if you're not on Earth, I really don't care.
Either way, I clutched my son tighter as I slowly lowered my right hand to my belly, my fingers gently probing the wrinkles in the fabric of my gown. Oh my goddesses. Was that creature really after me? Or was he really after our unborn child?
Oh my god, if it turns out he's a prophesized fetus.
Well, yeah, we still have to feed a baby to the Great Deku Tree.
I am
I thought
going to impale this person on a pike.
That's what I
Cannibal
thought of
Holocaust
Vlad the
style.
Impaler, Vlad the Impaler style.
Cannibal Holocaust style.
Okay.
From between
How's
the
my
legs
vibe?
and out the mouth.
Yep. That's Vlad the Impaler style.
Body to feel like it was going numb. What in all of Hyrule would it have wanted with our children? Suddenly my body felt colder. The shock of what came to mind caused me to feel paralyzed. Oh, goddesses. No. That cannot be what it wants from them for. Or is it? I don't even know who's speaking. I'm dead now. We are almost done. Who cares?
It's Jenna, but I have no idea what the fuck she's alluding to.
Probably something she was gonna touch on later in the story, but then realized that she sucked and just.
Suddenly, I heard a gentle voice probe my mind. Are you okay, love? The voice called. I looked up and saw that Link was staring at me, intently, licking his lips as he did so. His dark blue eyes filled with worry. Link, my love, I think we need to talk. Alone. You mean like in your mind, or are you referring to a different room? Because
I'm forgetting they have telepathy.
It's really fucking stupid.
Yeah,
I returned back to him. I returned weakly back to him in his mind. Link looked at me with a slight growing fear in his eyes, the color draining from them, causing them to turn a shade of gray again. What is wrong, love? What has you all worked up? I don't know, maybe the fact that we just got attacked by a giant fucking bat monster we were too fucking terrified to fight? Gee, I wonder why she's worked up.
Yeah.
Link asked me again telepathetically. My eyes faltered. Link, I just need to talk to you. Alone. I returned. Okay, Jenna, my love. It's okay. We'll talk alone. Breaking the connection, Link was able to temporarily pull himself away from Zelda and her father to speak to me alone. Despite the fact that we were technically having a private conversation at the moment. He came over and sat down on the velvety chair beside me, taking his strong, warm arms and embracing my shaking body gently in them. God, it's so fucking trite talking about, like, the fucking embraces every single goddamn time.
Nice. Yeah. We're almost done. Hang in there.
He gently moved our son to the other breast so he could finish feeding, then looked up at Link, my eyes locking with his.
I just sat there a moment and looked at him, unable to speak. Then Link's eyes penetrated deep into mine as he finally broke the silence. Jenna, what's wrong? You do not look well, Link said with concern, his hands stroking my shoulders. Link, it's just that creature. I believe I know why it attacked me. And it's those very reasons that scares the shit out of me. Okay, I said shakily as small tears began to well up in my eyes. What reasons? Jenna, tell me what's troubling you, Link pleaded as his grip on my shoulders tightened. Then my eyes lowered. Link, I believe I know what the creature was after. I feel that it was after our children, our son and our unborn child. I returned nearly on the verge of tears. Suddenly, Link's face went a shade of white, the color completely draining from his eyes. What? Are you serious, Jenna? Are you sure? My eyes locked with his again. Link, why do you think it came after me when I went to get our son? When we first ran into the house, it was shrieking and clawing at the windows downstairs. But don't you find it a bit odd that it suddenly flew up and through the window upstairs right after I ran up there?
Christ.
Yeah, this is...
Can I go?
Yep, go.
Suddenly, Link's eyes lower to our son. By the goddesses! You don't suppose! No, he cannot be what it was after! Link spurted suddenly, shaky and raspy. I took my tree hand. No, that's free. My mouse is over it. Hand and rested a jelly on Link's. Love. Yes, I believe that is what our son and unborn child, the creature, was after. I fear the Arceus is behind the attack. He sent that evil creature to carry his revenge! Us for helping Dalamar! And I for killing this two Draconian.
All around
Whatever.
me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out places.
Your line.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny, and I think it's kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. Anyway. Just then, little Link stopped suckling, looked up at his father, giggled and smiled. His little blue eyes seemed to sparkle as he locked eyes with Link's. I watched as Link smiled, took him from my arms, and cradled him in his own. With a teary smile, I inched over to Link and rested my head on his shoulder. Our son just giggled happily as his father teased and tickled him, causing tears to fall in steady streams down my face as I watched them. Then I felt something move in my stomach. Oh, God. Lowering my hand, I placed it upon my belly and felt the sudden thrusts from within. Our unborn son was kicking, and suddenly my head snapped. It was at that point I came back to the realization that it was that tiny life and the life of our son that was in danger. You've just been talking about how that was the danger. This is not a sudden realization. You've been having this realization for the past half hour. My face suddenly faltered as I looked back at Link and directly into his eyes. Link, I'm afraid. I'm afraid that Arceus will continue his attacks on our children until he kills them. I stammered as I started to cry uncontrollably. I fear that Arceus will stop at nothing until he extracts out his revenge on us. Not enacts.
Extracts.
Extracts. He's going to remove his revenge from you.
I felt Link's worn palm on my cheek as he kissed me gingerly. Then he handed our son back to me as he gently embraced me again. Slowly, he rocked me in his arms while I cried. All the fears inside caused my stomach to clench up. Shh, Jenna, it's... crap, I just clicked on another page by mistake. Shh, Jenna, it's all right. I swear by my own life that I will not let anything befall you or our children. Then Link put his hand underneath my chin and lifted my head up until our eyes met. Fatality. But I agree with you, darling. I fear as well that Arceus will stop at nothing to carry out his revenge against us, so you should probably use those bullshit elemental powers that you have. So I believe that it is time for us to locate this shadow realm and take out Arceus from within. Suddenly, my eyes went ghostly white.
Yugi's grandpa.
What?
And save Yugi's grandpa.
Yes, exactly. Suddenly, my eyes went ghostly white. You could not be serious, I screeched. You could not actually believe that we could enter that cursed place and hope to come out alive. I reached over and clasped both hands on Link's shoulders. If we go there, Arceus will kill us for sure. And besides, we don't know what kind of evil creatures live in that place. We will be walking right into his hands, I cried as I shook Link profusely.
I'm sorry, but can you at least wait, 2 months before you do that?
Yeah, it might be a little bit easier.
Oh boy, it's finally time. Link looked up at me and smiled. That's why, love! His eyes seemed to glow with some kind of certainty. He will not know we're there!
Then they went to the Shadow Realm and all died. The end.
So, can I just say something that, going along with the earlier thread we had about what her powers should have been, something that would have been entertaining?
Yes.
If she tried to Devil Joe the giant bat monster.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Just starts throwing it around the room.
That would have been great, but no, that would have made too much sense. And
at least if you did that, you literally just tried to beat it into a pulp using everything in the room, and then it got up like it was nothing.
Yeah, that would be reason to be afraid of something like that.
Afraid.
it's like, ugh,
It's kind of like how some of the characters I have are basically like apex predators. In a sense. And so whenever something does that, like, no-sells that kind of shit, it's like this is a bad thing right now.
Like oh no. But, well, that would make
can literally take out an entire city with a single punch, and then something ends up managing to take that like it was nothing.
That would make it terrifying. Shall we sign off then?
This story, better or worse than My Inner Life? My Immortal.
Worse. So much worse.
Worse.
Actually, I am so glad this is done. I could have done more My Immortal.
Oh, wow.
I wouldn't go that far.
So I guess...
It makes me miss Peter Chimera, but that's me.
Oh, God. So I guess the question is what we end up doing next, because we're going to take a little week break after this, during which I will be uploading the Wolfbeard stuff.
Yes, finally.
So if you want to hear Tom say some cringe-inducing things...
Yeah.
I would have beat the shit out of that guy. Sure you would, sweetie.
Well...
Yeah,
I was actually energetic that last time, so I was feeling a little overstepping. Okay, anyway.
I'm Llytic.
It's over. It's finally fucking over.
And hopefully Zane won't die.
Hopefully I'm not sick by the next time. Like, if I don't make like a barf noise next time, it legit was just this story.
It's like next time we do this, you won't be here for the recording, so it'll be just me and Tom again. So I guess we'll have to figure out what we're reading there.
Oh, yeah.
I think bad creepypasta. But
right.
Yeah. So I'm Llytic.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Jenna.
Jenna Silverblade.
Somebody kill